CL Lakeside, Richmond, WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN. Richmond, it's time to get your morning going. Super Bowl. Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans. This is Fitz The Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick. Struck him live from the capital of the Commonwealth, where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first. If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Now, live from the capital of the Commonwealth, Fitz The Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Good Thursday, September 25th morning. Welcome into Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Alan alongside as we get you going on this Thursday right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, the ESPN Richmond app, and of course, ESPNRichmond.com. We're also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you type in ESPN Richmond, we'll pop right on up and you can watch us live on our stream. You can also be part of the show that way by liking, commenting, and subscribing wherever you are watching, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. We appreciate all of the support over there. And if you want to call in, text in, be part of the show today, 804-327-0888. We'll be answering some start-sit fantasy football questions in hour number 2, and I'll let you know some waiver wire additions that you may want to target ahead of the start of week 4 tonight, as the Cardinals play host to the Seahawks in an NFC West showdown. So get your start-sit questions in, your waiver wire questions in, 804-327-0888. That's coming up in hour number 2. So the ever-changing world of college football was on display again yesterday as the SEC's new scheduling format, it admitted some serious heavyweight rivalries. LSU and Alabama won't play in 2027. That will be the first time that those two teams have not played each other since 1963. Next season in 2026, the Tigers won't play the Gators. First time ever since 1970 they won't play in a season. And you've had some coaches that understand the change. Brian Kelly's one of them, head coach of LSU, who is losing their rivalry against Alabama and their rivalry against Florida on an annual basis. He said, quote, "You're going to pull some of those natural rivalries, but you're not losing them for a long period. They manage this and put this in a spot that allows you to play everybody home and away within a 4-year span. And I think that's pretty exciting." However, other coaches like Ole Miss's Lane Kiffin weren't so glowing in their praise, mainly since Ole Miss has Oklahoma as one of its annual opponents and will lose Vanderbilt as one of its annual opponents. Quote, "We don't have anything in common with Oklahoma," Lane Kiffin would say. This is being done by the SEC in an effort to ensure all, count them up, 16 teams will play one another at least once every 2 years, a byproduct of the mammoth-sized conferences that we are getting, and a new conference schedule that features 9 SEC games every season. 9 also for the Big 12, 9 also for the Big 10, and 9 newly announced also for the ACC. Mind you, the fans, the people that are playing, that the teams are playing for and who's helping sign these checks and get these massive broadcasting deals, the fans didn't ask for a 16-team conference. The fans didn't ask for a new conference schedule. The fans, and it's what makes college football great, want rivalries. This is my homerism talking a little bit, but that's what makes the Sun Belt such an appealing G5 conference, the way they have the East-West divisions that allow for these annual rivalries to take shape. New rivalries come out of the woodwork. That's what fans want. They want the bragging rights. And while the rivalries are still technically there with the SEC, they just aren't happening as regularly. It's still a problem. And look, as a JMU alum, I have 2 games circled on my calendar each and every year. It's the ODU game and the App State game. Got to figure out where they are, if I'm able to get to them, and I got to make sure I'm not doing anything on those days so I can sit down and watch those games and partake in some friendly online banter with the opposing fans as well. And if those were pushed to every other year, every third year, every fourth year, I would not be happy. When JMU was even back in the CAA, I had the Richmond game circled every year. You want the bragging rights. You want to fight for those games every year, have that banter every year. It's what makes college sports fun and different. There's rivalries in the NFL, sure, but Alan's a 49ers fan. I'm a Seahawks fan. There isn't that same butting heads rivalry as there is between a JMU fan and an App State fan, between an LSU fan and an Alabama fan, between an Alabama fan and an Auburn fan. And the real problem I have with this is the fact that the SEC so callously has just thrown away historical rivalries in an instant. It doesn't bode well for the future of rivalries, especially with the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, all also being these mammoth-sized conference and all also going to these enhanced conference schedules, leaving less opportunities to play non-conference rivals like Florida, Florida State, Notre Dame, USC, Clemson, South Carolina. The list goes on. And if the conference is so quick to get rid of or change the format with conference rivalries, what does that mean for some of the marquee non-conference rivalries? Some contracts are signed only for the next year or 2 or 3. And when those contracts are up, do they go from being annual to every other year to every 4 years to ceasing to exist entirely? Like Iowa State. I know we're here in Virginia and we don't really care too much about the Midwest, but we may stop seeing that game because it's a Big 10, Big 12 showdown. And once that contract's up, maybe they won't be able to fit it into their schedules anymore. They'll want more cupcakes and more opportunities to bolster their resume. And, Iowa State has kind of passed on Iowa, where that's a game they have to play down. Like, will we stop seeing the rivalries that make this sport great? And it's just been another example that the fans, us, the people that hold college football up, the ones that have gotten these conferences, these huge media rights deals, it all is because of the fans, and the fans are not considered with the money moves. It's all about the money, which I understand. I get it. We're all ruled by the dollar, and so all of your moves will be ruled by the dollar. But at the end of the day, if you keep messing with the fans, keep messing with what makes college football great, eventually you're going to turn away some of the fans, because there's a lot of other options out there in the world of sports where fans can go to. And if you lose the fans, you lose the media rights deal. If you lose the media rights deal, you lose the money. If you lose the money, well, you're SOL. And they've just got to be careful. And this move, at the end of the day, it isn't shocking. It's just disappointing. And it just is a worrisome trend that you're going to see across the college sports landscape as we continue on with the mammoth-sized conference and the consolidation of power within the tops of college football, the halves of college football, the SEC and the Big 10, who have a lot of power in the upcoming shift of the next couple of years through media rights, through new deals, and everything along those lines. All right, let's update you with some other things that may have happened in the wide world of sports overnight.
This is your Fitz The Bill morning update, getting you caught up on some of the biggest stories in sports.
All right, let's start today in the MLB. Why not? Mariners. Cal Raleigh continues to rake at the plate. He hit home run number 59 and number 60 on the season as Seattle got a 9-2 win over the Colorado Rockies. It clinches the AL West for Seattle. First time since 2001. The Phillies hit 8 home runs as a team last night as they beat the Marlins 11-1. The win assures Philadelphia a top 2 seed in the National League. Will open up the postseason at home on October 4th. Other scores around MLB, the Nationals down the Braves 4-3. The Orioles fall at home 6-2 to the Rays. The Guardians are red hot. Down the Tigers 5-2. And it is a historic late season surge. And the Cleveland Guardians now are the number 1 team in the AL Central. That's been a spot held by the Tigers all season long. Cleveland 9-1 in its last 10 games. Detroit, they're the inverse. 1-9. In MLS action, yes, soccer, Messi scored a brace for Inter Miami, also clinched a playoff spot with their 4-0 win over NYCFC. In the NFL, Giants head coach Brian Daboll said that the decision to go with Jackson Dart was, quote, my decision. Ahead of tonight's Thursday night football game, the Seahawks will get back Julian Love at safety and Devin Witherspoon at corner. Those two missed the last two games. The 2026 Hall of Fame nominees have been announced, and quarterback Drew Brees and wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald headline the modern era. Phillip Rivers, Alex Smith, Greg Olsen, Jason Witten, Frank Gore, LaShawn McCoy, and Thomas Davis are among other notable nominees. And in college football, the future format of the college football playoff remains undecided after the CFP's management committee discussed the format. CFP leaders have a contractual obligation to let ESPN know by December 1 if they want to expand the field beyond 12 teams. To make any changes, the Big Ten and SEC have to agree on what it should look like since they have the bulk of the control, and they've been at an impasse for months. Various models have been presented, from the status quo to the Big Ten idea of 28 teams. But College Football Playoff Executive Director Rich Clark said staying at 12 for another year isn't facing much resistance right now. All right, that's what you may have missed in the wide world of sports overnight. Coming up on today's show, no guests, just your calls, your texts. 804-327-0888. I know the phone lines were broken to start the week. We got it all fixed, and we were like, whoa, we were popular. We were popular to start the year. We had a bunch of missed calls, and we've gotten that fixed so you can call in. But as a reminder, the text line, if you can ever get in, feel free to text that same exact number because the text line is always open at all hours of the day. So whatever thoughts, whatever questions, anything like that, feel free to text in whenever you want. And we will. This is a little announcement for Talk of the Town Game of the Week. We will be at Atlee tomorrow as they host Hanover, our Talk of the Town Game of the Week. Excited to see what's happening up there as we will be at Atlee as they're hosting the Hanover Hawks for a little high school football showdown on that Friday. Same time as the UVA Florida State game, which we will dive into throughout today's show and tomorrow's show. That game, that's going to be a fun one over there at Scott Stadium. I cannot wait for it. I also cannot wait, Alan, for tonight's Seahawks-Cardinals game. A little Thursday night football, a little prime time as the Seahawks are 1.5-point favorites against the Arizona Cardinals. Weird things happen in Arizona Stadium. Typically for the Seahawks, and you saw it last weekend with the 49ers too, weird things happen when you play the Cardinals, even weirder things when you play at Arizona. Some of the most notable injuries that have happened to the Seattle Seahawks' Legion of Boom happened on the field in Arizona. That's when Earl Thomas, his Seahawks career ended with an injury. Richard Sherman tore his Achilles. His Seahawks career ended down there in Arizona. Always interesting stuff when the games are played down there in Arizona. We've also got News or Snooze coming up at 8:30. And to kick off hour number 2, we'll dive into our Commonwealth D1 football power rankings. Bob Black and Matt Josephs shared theirs, I believe, on Tuesday during the mashup hour. We'll share ours. We differ quite a lot with what they were going with, especially the top 3. Completely different order than what they've got. We've got a completely different order for our Commonwealth D1 power ranking. So stay tuned for that coming up in hour number 2. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Bruce is on line 1. Good morning, Bruce. How you doing?
Good morning, Fitz. Good morning, Alan. Hey, guys. Of course, I sent y'all a text yesterday, but I want to give y'all some premise behind the text. So in week 1 of the college football season, I went with Florida State versus Alabama. So I was on a win streak there. And I think it was week 2 or week 3, I went with Georgia Tech over Clemson. So I was on a win streak there. So I just want to give y'all a premise. I know Matt read my text yesterday. I was asking that we keep it a secret, but I just wanted to give y'all some premise behind that text. That was really the nature. I'm on a winning streak, guys. So because I'm on that winning streak, and like even I had the Bears over the Cowboys last week. And so I know I went with Baltimore a couple of weeks. Every week I've gone with the Ravens. So I can't,
That kind of breaks the
help.
streak there.
Yeah, that doesn't help. So, but just wanted to give y'all that premise, guys. So, you don't have to disclose the text, but, we'll see what happens. And I want to commend y'all, man, because the hot dogs at Thomasdale last weekend.
Hey, those chili cheese dogs, they hit.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what's up. And hopefully y'all will have good grub. Hanover got tomatoes and all of that type of stuff. So you really got to, dip your toe in some stuff this coming week, tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to getting back to the fried pork chops that we saw at Verina. Highland Springs had fried fish, so we may have to make our way back near the end of the season to one of those spots to get that delicious grub as well.
I wish you could get somewhere like where Allen was born and raised, because I know they got some delicate stuff.
Yeah, Amherst is lit when it comes to the food.
Man, you probably get some pulled pork on mayonnaise or something up there. So you missing out, Fitz. Or even if you can get up to your area, Fitz, get up to Spotsylvania area. I'm sure they got some good eats up there, man.
And Massaponax, our football games, we had the classics. It was grilled burgers and hot dogs. Nothing really else other than that. It was run by the band parents, though, so the money went back into the band.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to give y'all that premise. Of course, I talked with Alan on the phone. I would be remiss if I did not send out well wishes and condolences to I knew Rudy as a kid, so just wanted to send out condolences to the family. Just a tough period right now.
Yes, that's for sure, Bruce. Appreciate you calling in. Thank you for offering out those condolences. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
Thanks, guys.
There goes Bruce. And if you know Bruce, if you're an often listener of the show, of anything on ESPN Richmond, you know Bruce's love for basketball. You know his love for the 76ers. I won't spill his secret, but I think you could probably imagine what Bruce's secret is when it comes to what he texted in yesterday. I won't spill it. I may spill it as we get closer to the season. But if you know Bruce, if you know his love for the 76ers, if you know any of that, you can probably go out on a limb and guess what his secret was. All right, let's get a quick break in here. We'll step aside, be back, preview a little bit of this Thursday night football game featuring the Cardinals and the Seahawks on Amazon Prime. Stay with us right here on Fitz the Bill.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
Driven by an unwavering passion for real estate, Wes Attia with Joyner Fine Properties consistently goes above and beyond for his clients. Wes is dedicated to ensuring that every step of your home selling or buying journey is met with unparalleled dedication, expertise, and a genuine commitment to exceeding your expectations. Wes is a proud sponsor and founder of the River City Tennis Open, supporting local charities benefiting RVA youths, and can be found at isellrichmondhomes.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
For you and I, this is waste. But to a tree's roots, it's dessert. Just ask the pros at Robinson's Plumbing Service. Just because it's fall doesn't mean trees stop growing. Right now, their roots are spreading, seeking out any water they can find. A great source is your sewer main. The roots slowly work themselves into the drain pipe. Once inside, they get all the moisture they want. Then they expand and multiply. That causes slow drainage, clogs, and sometimes backups. If you've got a slow drain, call Robinson's Plumbing Service now. They'll bring out their pipe cameras, drain machines, and cheddars. If there's a clog, they can blast out those invading roots. And if your line needs replacing, Robinson's Plumbing Service also has excavators. And don't worry, Robinson's Plumbing won't hurt your trees. Fall is here, the leaves may be dropping, but the roots are still spreading. So if you're seeing signs of a slow drain, call Robinson's Plumbing Service, voted the Richmond area's best plumbing service. Schedule your appointment now at robinsonsplumbingservice.com.
The Bentelli Fall Sales Event is on now through October 31st. Great selection of LSVs and special finance rates are available. Cruise your neighborhood in style with a street-legal low-speed vehicle from Richmond LSV. Bluetooth sound system, seatbelts, and lithium batteries are all standard equipment. Schedule a test drive today during the Bentelli Fall Sales Event at richmondlsv.com or text 804-363-4351. Fun, fully charged.
Are you suffering from a sports injury, chronic pain, or something that just plain hurts? Ortho Virginia can help get you on the road to recovery. As the state's largest provider of orthopedic care, Ortho Virginia's team of specialists offers surgical and non-surgical treatment options. With 12 offices conveniently located in the Richmond area, visit orthovirginia.com or call 804-915-1910 to discover why at Ortho Virginia, stronger starts here.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
We're seeing an accident on Parham Road near Lawndale Road. Beware of some congestion heading north on Powhite Parkway between Midlothian Turnpike and Chippenham Parkway. Some delays heading north on 95 between the 64 merge and Lombardy Street, as well as a crash heading south on 95 near Ashland, Hanover, causing slow-moving traffic from Kings Dominion Boulevard.
We're more than a station. We're a sports community. Braves, Spiders, NFL, NBA, MLB, NASCAR, talk shows, big games, local heroes. 106.1 ESPN Richmond is where Richmond talks sports. Want your brand in the mix? Advertise with us today. Call 804-330-5700 or email espnrva@summitmediacorp.com.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill. It's Ryder Cup week. Stay tuned to 106.1 ESPN Richmond for leaderboard updates for the Ryder Cup, live from Bethpage Black Golf Course in Farmingdale, New York, presented exclusively by Richmond LSV. Special financing available on all Bentelli low-speed vehicles through October at richmondlsv.com. Today, starting at 4 p.m., it's the opening ceremonies for the 2025 Ryder Cup, with play beginning right around, I think, gates open at Bethpage Black at around 5 a.m., and I believe play starts at around 7 a.m. So we'll have live leaderboard updates presented by Richmond LSV throughout tomorrow's show, and we'll preview a little bit about what to expect out of the Ryder Cup in hour number 2 as well. So Seahawks Cardinals tonight, man. Thursday night football. This should be a very fun one. Seattle, a 1.5-point road favorite against the Arizona Cardinals, who are shockingly red hot to start off the season. The loss to the loss last week to the 49ers on a last-second field goal, was it? There were so many last-second field goals last week that I forget what happened, but Cardinals come in 2-1 and looking a lot better than I think what people expected coming into the year, with a 7-point win over the Saints. Nearly blew the game against the Panthers, but came out with a win, and then a 1-point loss to the 49ers.
Yeah, the Niners thing, like I said, from a Niners perspective, I was shocked. Wow, we came back and won on a field goal too. That's crazy.
Yeah, but you 49ers and Cardinals, really, it's insert NFC West team against the Cardinals. Always play the weirdest games.
Yeah, it's just because Kyler Murray and them just never are not out of a game for the most part. So, and not the Niners, but the NFC West, a lot of the coaches like to do just enough to win. And sometimes when you're doing just enough to win,
I love your just subtle jabs.
No,
at Kyle
McVay has done it too.
Yeah.
They do just enough to win. Like they'll get a lead, probably about around 10 points in the third quarter, and they just kind of play clock control. And with a team like the Cardinals and Kyler Murray and his playmaking ability, he's always down for like a late score, like a late touchdown.
Yeah.
If you're only up 10, then it can create drama. And that's honestly what ends up happening a lot of times with the Cardinals and stuff. But this game tonight, I think, losing Connor is going to hurt the Cardinals. But I just don't know if I'm fearful that we're going to get the Sam Darnold with the turnovers tonight. That's why I'm like, I don't know if they're supposed to be favored.
Yeah, I don't know either. It worries me seeing the Seahawks as the favorites in this game. I feel like a lot of people are thinking, granted, I don't think the Seahawks were as bad as week 1. I think week 2, week 3. Week 2 is probably the closest to what the Seahawks are this season, that close win against the Steelers that week, where they were able to take advantage of a couple special teams miscues from Pittsburgh. I don't think last week that blowout win over the Saints is necessarily indicative of how the Seahawks are going to play this season. However, Sam Darnold has shockingly been the highest graded passer according to PFF. They have absolutely loved what he's done. He has not put the ball in harm's way at all. And his EPA per dropback is near the top of the league as well. So a lot of the underlying metrics when it comes to Sam Darnold really favors him. And it's showing, at least early on here in 2025, that last season wasn't the exception to the rule. It's rather the rule now when it comes to Sam Darnold, that he's an efficient and smart quarterback, which is a far cry from what he was with the Jets.
Yeah. So the thing with Darnold, like I said, you give him a little love, give him a happy home. You can
give him a happy home.
You can refurbish your quarterback.
Give him a loving home.
They're refurbs, right? That's what they pretty much are.
It's like when you go to buy a new Xbox from GameStop, and you have to choose between a brand new one, a draft pick, and a refurb. Refurb's going to cost you a little bit less, but hey, it may actually run better than the one brand new out of the box.
Yeah, sometimes the ones that come out the box have like little glitches in them.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't even know. The red ring. You don't even know. And for Sam Darnold, he came out of the box, he had a couple glitches, and the refurb actually helped. Yeah, according to PFF, as it stands right now, he is the number 1 quarterback in both offensive grade and passing grade. He only has thrown 1 turnover-worthy play, which is tied for second least in the National Football League. And of his passes, what has he done? Of his passes, just 1.2% have been turnover-worthy throws. Now, he's not necessarily pushing the ball down the field looking for the big plays. Just 6.5% of his throws have been big-time throws, which are defined as going 20 air yards or more and fitting it into what PFF describes as a small window. And so he's hit 5 of those. 6.5% of his throws have been those. Has not put the ball in harm's way. He has thrown 2 interceptions, but only 1 turnover-worthy play. I mean, it's been a really solid start to the season for Sam Darnold if he can keep it going with the Seahawks defense, which did a very good job under Mike McDonald last season in slowing down Kyler Murray. I don't love Seattle being a favorite, a very slight road favorite in this game. However, they have shown signs of being a legit kind of dark horse team in the NFC this year.
Yeah, I think
the 49ers in you showing.
No, it's not even that. I just don't know if I see the type of dark horse ability to make a run. Like,
well, I just think that there'll be sniffing around the NFC West, the top of the NFC West, like they did last year. They'll be sniffing around the top of it for the most of the season. Last year, I mean, it came down to the 9th tiebreaker for the Rams to win the NFC West. That's how close the Seahawks were to winning the NFC West. So, I mean, I think they can sniff around and just make life very difficult. And if things break right and Sam Darnold doesn't turn into a pumpkin again, then I think the Seahawks may be a fun team. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. We got Dolphin Dave out there on line 1. Good morning, Dolphin Dave. How are we doing?
Hey, good morning, guys. Couple quick things. First, about the game tonight. I believe that a quarterback is only as good as his coach. It's like you guys kind of make the joke, be nice and gentle and send him somewhere, in the second act and do be better. Well, Sam Darnold sure and heck has better coaching now than at the Jets.
Yeah.
It had better coaching at Minnesota, than he did. Do I think he's a superstar? Absolutely not. But I do think that you have a really good serviceable quarterback. And I made a statement a long time ago, guys. I'd rather have a guy that can manage the game and know how to play the game and not be a superstar than a guy that's a superstar running all over the place but doesn't know how to play the game. So I will going to give Sam Donald the edge for tonight. And then one other thought, we're talking about my Dolphins and Mike McDaniel getting fired. Don't you think it's interesting that Mike McDaniel was not fired last week because he only lost by 10 points to Buffalo? My prediction was that was a blowout. He was going to be gone. I think we are on the Mike McDaniel watch. I will be watching the game on Monday, but under any circumstances that he loses against the Jets, they go 0-4, I think you're going to see the first coach fired at the end.
I love it. Dolphin Dave, thank you so much for calling in. Have a great rest of your Thursday. He's calling his shot. Dolphin Dave is saying his Dolphins will be the first ones to move off of their head coach. You said Brian Daboll early in the week, Alan. You said that was one of your hot takes. Maybe it was an overreaction Monday saying Daboll will be the first coach fired. Now that he's moved to Jackson Dart, I think he's bought himself at least another month, whereas Mike McDaniel has not. Mike McDaniel, Dolphin Dave's right. We all were saying if they get blown out, they may fire him. And then it's just like, well, they're not going to fire him. They only lost by 10. And Miami has gone from really good. This is the Mike McDaniel era so far in Miami. Really good, innovative offensive schemes. Whoa, we've never seen this before. To good, to downright tough to watch this season.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. We're talking about an owner who openly wanted to tank. So if Mike McDaniels,
so this might actually fit right
I was
into their
say,
plan.
if Mike McDaniels is losing football games, then I don't think he cares enough.
Mike McDaniel seems like the type of guy where if Stephen Ross comes up to him and goes, "Hey, on the low, don't say anything. You got to lose games."
Yeah, he would do it.
Where Brian Flores was like, "No, I have ethics, I have integrity," and that's what got Brian Flores.
I
fired.
want to compete.
Yeah, and then Mike McDaniel though, looking like a Miami something.
He's living the Vice City life a little too hard since he's been down there. But
with his vape on the sideline,
I don't think it'll be him. Just because, like I said, I don't think Ross cares as much. Like you need a competitive owner to really make moves like that. I actually like even the Dayball thing with Dart coming in. I just don't understand how long his leash is because he's gonna have Dart in for the rest of the year. But I'm like, if that was the case, if your seat was truly hot at the start of the season, there's no way Russell Wilson would have been out there playing quarterback.
I don't think Daboll seats that hot.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think he's got I think now Daboll saying it was my decision, all of this, he may have expedited the process to him getting fired a little earlier, because if you had brought in Jackson Dart in maybe week 13, 14, 15, like tail end of the season, let's see what he has, and Jackson Dart looks solid, you might be able to convince yourself to actually bring Daboll back next year. But now you're getting almost an entire season with the rookie quarterback. So by week 18, you will know whether or not the Daboll Dart marriage is going to work in the long term. And so Daboll may have just given himself his firing papers at the end of the season if it does not work out with Jackson Dart.
So off the top of my head, just looking at the AFC, I think D'Amico Ryans is going to be on the hot seat, or is his seat's going to get warm here soon. Crazy as it sounds, Callahan, they were looking to remove him.
Be fired.
Yeah, they were gonna fire him before the season started, which I thought was crazy, or during the offseason when they intentionally tanked.
His in-game management has been abysmal. He has not looked the part. He's now giving off play calling duties, which is the first sign of a sinking ship. Tennessee's in a tough spot.
There's 4 teams 0-3 right now: Jets, Dolphins, Texans, Titans, and I think that McDaniels is probably third on the list to being fired. I would think Callahan and D'Amico would be ahead of him.
I think McDaniel's ahead of
just because Ross doesn't care.
Yeah, but D'Amico has more, I think, cultural cachet built up with Houston Texans with what he did his first couple of seasons, where like the trend is pointing down for Mike McDaniel. At least for D'Amico, it's kind of neutral. Stephen Ross, though, would fire him if the fans stopped showing up.
Oh, yeah, he did say that, didn't he?
He said that, and look, yeah, Stephen Ross probably doesn't care as much about the product on the field, but according to according to NFL media, Stephen Ross wants this to work out. He believes in Mike McDaniel. He invested in him. Mike McDaniel has a contract that runs through 2028. And Ian Rappaport reported about a week ago that no firing is imminent. However, Stephen Ross was like, but if you guys force me to fire him, I will. So if Dolphins fans stop showing up, then Stephen Ross will pull the trigger on it. But I don't think, as it stands right now, another 20-point loss, an 0-4 start, unfortunately for Dolphins fans, seems like Stephen Ross is going to stick to his guns and stay with Mike McDaniel through the end of the season. All right, let's get a quick break in here. We'll step aside, be back with more Fitz the Bill as we go to News or Snooze on this Thursday morning. Stay with us.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey, this is Jack Fitzpatrick. If you've ever been in a car accident, there's one place to call: Schilling and Esposito. I know them personally. I know their work ethic. They focus on their clients and their big dog obsession with getting the most compensation for their client. Heck, they even give you their cell phone numbers. Call them today at 804-320-0950 and put their entire team to work for you. 804-320-0950. Schilling and Esposito.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Defense. The ref totally blew that call.
Oh, I'm sure he'll make the right call next time.
It's too late. It cost us the game.
Well, it's just one game.
That loss eliminated us from the playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs are on so late. Now you'll be well rested.
Okay, I need you to stop talking now.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Straight Talk presents The Math of More. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
The 7th Annual River City Tennis Open was created to support local charities benefiting local youth organizations in RVA. October 3rd through 5th at UR Tennis Facility. Online at rivercitytennisopen.com.
The Bentelli Fall Sales Event is on now through October 31st. Great selection of LSVs and special finance rates are available. Cruise your neighborhood in style with a street-legal low-speed vehicle from Richmond LSV. Bluetooth sound system, seatbelts, and lithium batteries are all standard equipment. Schedule a test drive today during the Bentelli Fall Sales Event at richmondlsv.com or text 804-363-4351. Fun, fully charged.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
106.1 ESPN weather.
Taking a look at today's weather forecast, it's currently 72 degrees and overcast with a high today of 86 and a low of 71. We're expecting a light drizzle starting in the next hour or so, followed by some thunderstorms later this afternoon. Mostly overcast skies for the day, followed by a high chance of rain for the rest of the week into the weekend, with a high tomorrow of 81 and a low of 70.
Stretch your sports IQ from sideline to sideline, border to border with Matt Josephs, where local beats nationwide news. Buckle up for analysis that crosses every line. No passport required. News or snooze.
Today's News or Snooze is brought to you by the good folks in the National Football League, apparently.
All right.
I gotta give you a hard time. But no, it's It's all pretty good topics. I like this. Here we go. Ravens, Nnamdi Madubuike out versus Chiefs with neck injury.
Madubuike. What a name.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I said it right.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was right. Newsworthy. Very, very, very newsworthy. So John Harbaugh said, quote, and this is always a great quote to get from your head coach, quote, I would say I am concerned about it, but I'm not really in a position to comment on it right now. I haven't been given the okay to comment on it at this point. Well, Coach Harbaugh, I would say your opening comment saying, I would say I am concerned about it was a pretty large comment. And it's a hugely newsworthy story considering the fact that Madubuike is one of the best defensive tackles that we don't talk about in the National Football League. The Ravens defense, without him against the Detroit Lions, allowed 207 yards rushing between the tackles, the most they've allowed in a game since ESPN began tracking that stat in 2006. Baltimore also did not record a sack in the game for the first time in 4 years. Oh, by the way, Madubuike leads all defensive tackles in sacks over the last 2 seasons. And the Ravens defense as a whole through the first 3 weeks, mightily struggling. They rank last in total defense. They rank 27th in the NFL in EPA allowed per play. They rank 29th in success rate allowed. Madubuike being out is a huge blow to this Ravens defense, a Ravens defense that's been sputtering to start 2025.
Yeah, I mean, based on the last game, I knew he was good.
I knew he was that good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I knew he had an impact, but man, this was like night and day. So
David Montgomery went for 151. Almost, I believe all of his yards were between the tackles too.
With him out, it hurts, but I mean, if the Chiefs are running between the tackles on you, I mean, they've been really bad with their run offense. So if they're able to get it going versus you, then I'm definitely like sounding the alarms. You're not going to run across a rushing attack like Dan Campbell and the Lions have on a regular basis. So it's concerning, but like it would be DEFCON, whatever number you want to put on it.
DEFCON 1.
Yeah.
DEFCON 5 means no threat is it? I learned this the other day. DEFCON 5 means no threat is imminent, and it's actually not bad, but DEFCON 1 is the worst.
We'll be DEFCON 0 if we come out here and Pacheco has
200 rushing yards.
120 yards and about 5.5 a carry.
Shoot, like, even if Pacheco has 75 yards, you have a problem.
I mean, I really was looking at that game. I even text my friend because he's a big fan of their linebacker. We argue about the middle linebackers a lot because that's obviously the staple of our defense in San Francisco. But I was like, where's your middle linebacker in Baltimore? I haven't seen him. And he even said, well, our defensive tackle's out. And I was like, that's an excuse. No, it wasn't.
No,
it was crazy.
It's insane that they allowed 207 yards rushing between the tackles.
Yeah.
Didn't get a sack. Madubuike is massive. And a neck injury is always scary. A neck injury is what ended Cam Chancellor's career with the Seattle Seahawks. He got what seemed like Cliff Averill, too, with the Seahawks. And Seahawks are on my mind. They play tonight. They're my favorite team. Of course, they're on my mind. But it ended both of their careers. And neck injuries, if you're not careful, can end a career. And the fact that Harbaugh said, I would say I'm concerned about it, then would go on to say he hasn't been given the okay to comment on it at this point is very worrisome. If you're a Ravens fan, if you're a Ravens player, if you're Madubuike himself, because his play in that defensive tackle spot, it was super important under Mike McDonald when he was the DC there. I believe Zach Orr is the defensive coordinator there now, but that's what powers this Baltimore Ravens defense. It's the spine of the defense. Madubuike to Roquan Smith to Kyle Hamilton. Every level, that spine of the defense is what makes them go. If that spine is broken without Madubuike, then all of a sudden everything else is out of whack. And it was on full display in that game against the Lions. All right, what's next?
All right, number 2, Ravens, Micah Parsons, not upset Cowboys won't recognize his return.
Snoozeworthy. One, because you're upset. You're upset, Micah. Come on. We know there was a lot of drama around all this. Did you know that he still has his suite in the Dallas Cowboys stadium?
He paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
That is objectively hilarious that when he was traded, they did not give him the refund for it. And so he was asked by a reporter, hey, Micah, how many tickets are you getting for this weekend's game against the Dallas Cowboys? And he looked at him. He goes, I don't have to get any tickets. I still have my suite. They wouldn't give me a refund for it, so I still have the suite all season.
I mean, I wouldn't give you the refund either. Keep the money. I mean, I'll go out here and say this thing. My friend calls me a wet blanket. He's probably right. Micah doesn't deserve to be recognized.
Whoa.
He hasn't done. This franchise has legitimate legends. They've won Super Bowls and done amazing things.
Sorry, when was the last time?
But being just a good and sometimes great, and if not one of the best edge rushers in the game for 4 years, should not give you recognition territory. Like if his career was a little bit longer, then I'd be like, sure, they're doing him foul. But like, he's still on his rookie deal, man. He was still on his rookie deal, and people are like, he's not getting recognized. That's messed up.
I think Micah's at least deserved a quick 30-second highlight reel.
Where?
Sure, he's not.
Yeah, like Ware should have been recognized and probably did get. I can't remember when he returned.
He could have been DeMarcus Ware if they had just signed him to the dang contract.
What about?
It's not his fault.
What about was it Dexter Lawrence was the other one that was a pretty decent edge rusher for them? Did he get recognized? He was there for a while.
DeMarcus Ware.
Lawrence. There was
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence.
He's with the Seahawks now.
But did he get recognized when he came? He's pretty solid for them.
I don't know if he did.
I'm just saying, like you dilute the product, man. Like have a lengthy career at least.
My thing is like Micah didn't choose to leave Dallas.
I get that, and I defended that in the last hour. But also, if you were on your rookie deal looking for your first extension, if you ain't won me a Super Bowl, man, I can't be out here putting you up on the 60-yard long TV and doing a round of applause for you.
I guess
let the fans do it, but as an organization, have some pride, man.
Hey, but he said he's not upset, so maybe he's in the camp with you, where
and he shouldn't be.
He still got his suite though, so he's still winning there.
He's still a paying customer,
which is why he should be appreciated. He's still lining the pockets of Jerry Jones some way.
I know. That's kind of funny. You're right. Jerry's still getting his dollar some kind of way.
Some kind of way. All right, what's next?
The last one, Commanders, Jaden Daniels practices, says status up to doctors.
This is what Jaden Daniels said yesterday in his press conference.
It's an assessment of where you are right now as far as come Sunday.
It's up to the doctors, not my decision.
For you, I mean, where do you think you're at? And
feel good.
Jaden Daniels, a great player on the field, maybe one of the worst press conferences. Like, dude does not answer questions in more than 5 words. You'll send me the transcript, Dallin, whenever they do press availability with Jaden Daniels, and it's typically along with Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn gets asked a question. He goes on for like a paragraph or 2 answer.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, I can read through his transcript in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Jaden, how you feeling? Good.
I made
when are you coming back? Doctor's got to clear me.
Last year, we were talking right before the bye week. I asked him, like, what was he planning to do in his first season as a rookie?
Yeah. First bye week. How you handling it?
Yeah. And he was just like, I don't know, watch film, play video games. Chill. I was like, okay, great. So he's not a man of many words.
Not at all.
I really think it's just the press thing. Because when he's talking to people one-on-one individually, he is way more vocal. I just think when you do the press conference scenario and everybody's like kind of like looking at you like you're under the microscope, he's not for it and just tries to get out of there quick as possible.
He does, and sometimes it ends up him getting like extra questions because the first question could be, and this is me just picking nits with Jaden Daniels, but it's like, how's the knee? How are you feeling? I'm feeling good, but I can't play until the doctors clear me, or I'm waiting for what the doctors say. That just checked off the 3 follow-ups that were coming after.
You get about 7 questions with Coach Quinn. You get like 25 with Jaden based on how he answers. Because I mean, there's a time limit.
Yeah,
obviously.
So they're like, all right, we got time for more.
There's times where we're sitting there, and because people know he's not going to answer with anything lengthy, we're just kind of sitting there waiting on somebody to take the mic.
All right, what's next, guys? This is newsworthy though, that the status is still up in the air and it's still up to the doctors on if he can return or not. So this is newsworthy.
It is newsworthy. Again, with the way the injury happened and his style of play, I would not put him back on the field unless I am sure he is as close to 100% as we could possibly get him.
And especially with the play of Marcus Mariota this last weekend. Like, your offense is in pretty good hands with Marcus Mariota running the show.
I give Marcus 3 to 4 games is the max of how much I want to see him play in the full season.
I mean, if he's playing against the Kansas City Chiefs in a couple of weeks, hit the DEFCON 1 panic button, that type of stuff. But
I mean, even against the Chargers, it would probably be a little bit of a scare.
Yeah, you probably don't want him that long either. But good 2 weeks. Give Jaden the opportunity to bounce back from it. Because you don't want to rush it. We've talked with the Ortho Virginia doctors the last 2 weeks about it. Of course, they're not treating Jaden Daniels. They're here in the Richmond offices. But yesterday we were talking about hip injuries and how when you're playing with an MCL sprain, you can sometimes overcompensate, which could bring along hip injuries. If you do kind of play through an MCL sprain, you have the potential of worsening the injury. So this is something they want to be very careful with as the season goes along, and you don't want to rush him back. Doctors still haven't cleared him, and it is, Thursday? That was yesterday. That was Wednesday. Still, the doctors haven't cleared him. I would be shocked if he ends up playing in this game, and the betting line reflects that, as Washington is just a 1.5-point favorite on the road against the lowly Atlanta Falcons, who are coming off of a goose egg performance against the Carolina Panthers? Huh?
I know, but it was an awful game. That offense is way too talented to
Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins on the bench. You got plenty of talent.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting game this weekend. I think, like I said yesterday and what Lake hinted to on Tuesday, teams bounce back so quickly. Hopefully on Raising Hell today, we can get some insight from a former Atlanta Falcon himself to give us a little bit of a scouting report on that, and then I can have something to report back for tomorrow.
All right. And then also on the injury front with the Washington Commanders, we talked about it yesterday in News or Snooze. Terry McLaurin is out looking for additional opinions on his quad injury. His status is still up in the air for Sunday as well, as John Keim and Adam Schefter were reporting that Terry McLaurin still looking for additional opinions on what happened with his quad injury. All right, let's get a quick break in here. Step aside, wrap up hour number 1 on Fitz the Bill, 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Girl, I got a new dryer. You did not. I did. I got the best price in town.
How do you know that?
Because I got a guy.
An appliance guy?
Yeah, his name is Rob. He's gotcha.
Still putting off replacing your old appliances? I'm Rob Nicholson, the appliance guy. At East Coast Appliance, we're Virginia's largest independent appliance dealer of top brand names. Plus, we have a huge selection of brand new scratch and dent appliances at discounted prices. Visit East Coast Appliance today. The best price, or it's free. Shopping for an appliance but not sure where to start? This is Rob Nicholson from East Coast Appliance, and we believe the first step to finding the perfect appliance is to know exactly what you're looking at. For over 34 years, we've taken pride in becoming Virginia's largest independent appliance retailer with a full staff of knowledgeable appliance experts. So shopping with us first will help you through this process. Whether you decide to buy from us or not, you'll leave with the knowledge you need to make the best appliance selection for your home. East Coast Appliance, the best price, or it's free.
World Class Courts is proud to be a featured sponsor of the 2025 River City Tennis Open, October 3rd to 5th at the University of Richmond West Hampton Courts. We specialize in providing everything you need for any type of tennis court, whether it's clay, hard, or hybrid surfaces. As a manufacturer and supplier, World Class Courts offers surfaces and equipment for every kind of tennis court. We invite you to come and see our recent resurfacing work at the University of Richmond. For more information, visit us online at worldclasscourts.com.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. find. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21. 1061 ESPN, home of Border to Border with Matt Josephs. Dive into Virginia's hottest sports topics daily. Agree or argue. Matt's got the takes you can't ignore.
That's what it sounds like for the Commanders, man. A lot of injuries piling up for him. And to notable players like Jaden Daniels, like Terry McLaurin, Dietrich Wise out for a long time.
Dude,
John Bates, questionable. Noah Brown, questionable.
Hearing this during my childhood, your season was over.
Trey Amos, questionable. Will Harris on the IR. Austin Eckler on the IR.
Somebody's riding, listening to that, and just got some PTSD. Like, oh no.
That's what happens when Bo Jackson goes out for you in Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, back in the day, Tecmo Bowl, nobody ever got hurt for just a week. It was always like the season.
Out for season.
Yeah, it's like, what?
I love it when you, like in Madden too, when you like sim a season and then you check out your injuries at the end of the year as you get ready to play the playoffs when you user control it, right? And it goes like your star quarterback out for career. And you're like, why is this an option?
Yeah, my friend had something like that happen to him on his franchise.
You're like, brother, so I turn injuries off now because I'm like, this is a video game. We can play in video game land with the rules.
Yeah, it's too realistic when you simulate.
Yeah, it's too realistic when you go out for season. Look, man, I wanted Cam Chancellor back for the end of his career. I don't want to have him be a season-ending injury again. Let's check in over in the Big Apple. How they're feeling about Jackson Dart. Dexter Lawrence had some interesting words on his feelings about rookie quarterback Jackson Dart.
I think it's the right move for the team at this point.
That ain't my call, honestly. I just he's my quarterback now, so I'm gonna be by his side and roll with him to the end.
When did you find out? And how did you find
out? The same way everybody else found out.
Things are going well in New York. How you feeling, Dexter?
On the defensive side of the ball, we don't need to tell you when we switch quarterback.
Hey, but you are a veteran leader on this team.
Yeah,
I expect
you think the Giants are an organization that cares about that stuff?
No, but it is just so funny to me that it's just like, so how you feeling about it? And he's just like, well, I guess he's my quarterback now. He is, according to a lot of reports, he's beloved in that locker room. But that was just a very interesting soundbite coming from Dexter Lawrence, their veteran defensive tackle, veteran leader on the team when it comes to the decision to bench Russell Wilson and go with Jackson Dart.
Did anybody ask Malik Neighbors how he felt?
Hey, he's probably like, hey, just give me the ball. I don't care who's throwing the football.
Because Malik was telling them last year, it ain't the quarterback. It ain't the quarterback.
And then they got a new quarterback.
Malik knew that Indiana Jones was the real deal.
Malik has been on it from the jump. Malik's got to step his game up. They've got to get him the ball more. He's wide receiver 7 right now as it stands in fantasy football. But he needs a little bit more targets and need to go up those rankings a little bit. Also notable, Sister Jean, Loyola Chicago's Sister Jean, retiring as the school's minister and men's basketball chaplain at the ripe old age of 106 years old. We all remember her for her March Madness fame in 2018. Sister Jean gets to retire, 106 years old. Just what, 40 years after retirement age? Good for her. She was still going. All right, coming up, hour number 2, we'll dive into the Commonwealth D1 football power rankings and so much more. Stay with us.
This has been Ingram with the Atlanta Braves. Keep it locked here on 106.1 ESPN, your home for the Atlanta Braves all season long.
This is Greg Trusinski from the Original Mattress Factory. I want to share the story of a couple I worked with recently. After receiving a quote from a competitor for a mattress, they visited OMF and found a mattress that was a great fit for them. They were so pleased with our quality and value that they ended up purchasing 2 mattresses, a box spring, headboard, and frame. Their total at OMF was roughly $400 less than what they would have spent on just the one mattress at the competitor. If you're ready to get better sleep for less, visit us at originalmattress.com.
For you and I, this
is waste. But to a tree's roots, it's dessert. Just ask the pros at Robinson's Plumbing Service. Just because it's fall doesn't mean trees stop growing. Right now, their roots are spreading, seeking out any water they can find. A great source is your sewer main. The roots slowly work themselves into the drain pipe. Once inside, they get all the moisture they want. Then they expand and multiply. That causes slow drainage, clogs, and sometimes backups. If you've got a slow drain, call Robinson's Plumbing Service now. They'll bring out their pipe cameras, drain machines, and cheddars. If there's a clog, they can blast out those invading roots. And if your line needs replacing, Robinson's Plumbing Service also has excavators. And don't worry, Robinson's Plumbing won't hurt your trees. Fall is here, the leaves may be dropping, but the roots are still spreading. So if you're seeing signs of a slow drain, call Robinson's Plumbing Service, voted the Richmond area's best plumbing service. Schedule your appointment now at robinsonsplumbingservice.com.
PGA Ryder Cup leaderboard updates are brought to you by Richmond LSV's Fall Bentelli sales event now through October 31st. Low-speed vehicle special financing details online at richmondlsv.com.
Stuck off the field? 1061 ESPN's got your back. Stream every debate, score, and highlight on the 1061 ESPN app. Download today and stay in the game.
Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. Brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the
ESPN Studio, presented by Ortho Virginia. Find one of Ortho Virginia's orthopedic locations at orthovirginia.com. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 1061 ESPN.
Welcome in hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill right here on 1061 ESPN Richmond. Live from the Ortho Virginia studios in the capital of the Commonwealth on 1061 ESPNRichmond.com and the ESPN Richmond app. And you can also find us streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up, and you can like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube so you never miss anything. That's where a ton of our Commanders coverage is posted through YouTube Shorts and things of that sort. And, of course, you can find all live streams, both archived and future ones, over there on our YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond, and we will pop right on up. We've got a great hour number 2, some power rankings around the Commonwealth. Ryder Cup gets underway tomorrow. And, of course, we got to dive into some fantasy football questions. Feel free to text in any and all fantasy football questions, 804-327-0888. We have a great one on Trey Tucker, whether or not he's real or if it's all been a flash in the pan and if you should sell high on Trey Tucker. So get your questions in, 804-327-0888. And it is Ryder Cup week, so stay tuned to 1061 ESPN Richmond for leaderboard updates for the Ryder Cup, live from Bethpage Black Golf Course in Farmingdale, New York. Presented exclusively by Richmond LSV. Special financing available on all Bentelli low-speed vehicles through October at richmondlsv.com as the Americans look to redo what they did a couple of years ago on home soil, a dominating 19-9 win over Team Europe at Whistling Straits. They'll look to replicate that here in 2025 at Bethpage Black. Coverage tomorrow starts at 7 a.m. on USA. 4 p.m. the opening ceremonies start on Golf Channel. So be sure to tune into that as the Ryder Cup, the play gets underway tomorrow. Junior Ryder Cup is today. All right, let's go out to the phone lines to start off hour number 2. Short Pump Corey's out there. Good morning, Corey. How are we doing?
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. I've been waiting a week since the FedEx Cup for the Ryder Cup to get here, and I got a quick hot take for you.
Hit us. We love hot takes.
I broke it down into 5 quick categories. Course info, extremely difficult course. Bethpage Black in Long Island, New York. Brutally long, narrow fairways, thick rough, deep bunkers. Everything you want for a Ryder Cup, we got that. History. USA leads Europe all time, 27 wins to 15 wins. But Europe has won 10 of the last 14. including that butt whipping they gave us 2 years ago in Rome.
Yeah.
That was rough. We'll get back to that.
That was payback though for our butt whooping we gave them at Whistling Straits.
That's true. That's very true. Experience. Now, this is a little concerning. We have 4 rookies, USA, out of our 12 team members. Europe only has 1 rookie. Europe is returning 11 of their 12 players who won in Rome in 2023. So they got the experience on us.
And the one non-returner there, Short Pump Corey, was I believe a brother, and so was sitting in on all the action last time around. So is an experienced guy. So they are very experienced.
Yeah, the Hogard brothers, or however you pronounce it. I'm not sure. But that's going to be, we got some rookies, but maybe that's going to be a good thing. We'll see. Intangibles. Now, one thing we do have is our captain, Keegan Bradley. He grew up, went to St. John's College right near Bethpage Black, and he understands how tough that course is. So I think some local knowledge is going to help us. And also he understands the New York fans. Jack, the New York fans are going to be pretty vocal. The Jets are 0-3. The Giants are 0-3. So they're not in the best mood to start with right now.
Yeah, they don't want to see America get off to a bad start. And so America's got to be a little careful so they don't get the ire of New York sports fans.
Oh, I know. You're exactly right. That's what got us last year. They beat us 4-0 in the first the foursome matches last year. They beat us 4-0. In the afternoon, they beat us 2.5 to 1.5 in the 4-ball. So after day one, we were behind 6.5 to 1.5 last year, and we have got to avoid a start like that.
Short Pump Corey, you want to hear a funny quote Victor Hovland said about dealing with the New York fans and being heckled?
Yeah.
Victor Hovland, I don't know if this is sad or funny with him, but he said, they won't really come close to the thoughts I have in my own head, so I think I'll just laugh it off for the most part.
I tell you what, we'll see. The funny thing is, they are going. I think they're going to get on us if we get behind. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, last year was. I said we were behind on the first day. Day two, we were 3-1, both teams. But the bottom line was, after 2 days last year, Europe was ahead 10.5 to 5.5. You only need 14.5 to win. So they only had to win 4 out of their 12 singles matches. So got to get off to a good start.
Yeah, need to.
But anyway, that's very excited about it. And we do have the home field advantage. We've only lost 4 times on the USA soil, knock on wood. So let's keep a good thought, but it's going to be great. I can't wait for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it should be a blast. Thank you so much for calling in, Short Pump Corey. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and it should be a very fun Ryder Cup. Neither side has won on the opponent's land since Europe did so in 2012. And the last time it was here in America, 19-9 win for the U.S. at Whistling Straits, just dominant. And Short Pump Corey, I think, hit on one of the biggest storylines coming into the Ryder Cup this year. It's the youngness of us against the veterans of Europe. The Europe, they've got guys that have been around the block. For the United States, it's a pretty young squad that they've put together.
Yeah, I mean, youth is sometimes an asset. Sometimes you don't know any better. We see that in sports often, right?
Yeah, you don't know you're not supposed to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Miracle on ice, baby.
And you've never experienced the highs and lows. You don't have that history. You don't have that scar tissue sometimes that comes with repeated failures at this level. But Ryder Cup, just like any other international competition, is a lot of fun, a lot of passion. It's not typical golf. It's borderline a mix of a watered down version of Live and just the competitive nature that we get in our everyday sports, right? Like, these guys They're not friends when they step on the golf course. They're looking to win.
Well, especially DeChambeau and McIlroy. That's kind of an underlying subplot of all of this.
But at the end of it, at the end of it all, I mean, for a casual golf fan like myself, what irritates me is that I feel like the last Ryder Cup was stained by too many buddies. We didn't need some of those guys on the team. I feel like Keegan Bradley wants to win, not only because it's in America, but also because he just wants to win. And I like that more. Like I felt like the last Ryder Cup.
You scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Yeah, it's like, well, this is my friend. You know, I'm getting my boy. No, we don't need that.
And with Keegan Bradley, it was an interesting choice to bring him on as the captain because he was a guy that had never played in the Ryder Cup. He had always wanted to be on the Ryder Cup team. And then what does he do? He goes out and they name him the captain. And so that should be an added interesting part to it as well with Keegan Bradley.
Yeah, and you know, I think some of these guys also want to just stick it to Team Europe because the underlying story here too is that, you know, there's a lot of bragging rights to this. I don't think casual fans realize that, but you see these guys on tour, whether let's just say every major, basically, because some of them are live golfers, but every major you're running into these guys. So that's at least 4 times a year.
Yeah,
and it's essentially like when they have the All-Star games and they separated the teams or whatever. Back when they were doing the captains would pick.
Yeah.
It was like just kind of like that. So Bethpage Black is a fun course.
Ooh, they picked
a tough course.
A tough course. Yeah. They said, "All right, you're up. Good luck."
But
good luck.
That's what we should want, man. Like you want the golfers to be challenged.
I am very excited to see how Bryson DeChambeau plays because DeChambeau has been at the forefront of so much discussion coming into the week. During a range session, I think 2 days ago, he had a huge gallery watching him as he was just pumping ball speeds of 200 miles an hour or more. I mean, the dude is out there living for all the attention that he is getting. Can he then produce and be a big-time player for Team USA? That's the question. How is he going to perform?
Well, the format is what threw him off last time, too. And I remember there was a lot of discussion about that. When they have to alternate shots, apparently, like Team USA just isn't comfortable with that format. And this was obviously on the heels of Live. I think Live has that built into their competition. Their team play is that format. So when you're going with a guy like Bryson DeChambeau, I'd be curious to see because, you know, he's a power guy. He's going to drive the ball pretty far. He's also not the most accurate off the tee sometimes. So could you imagine having to follow up his errant shot? It's like, you can use your short iron and get this
good out of the
225 yards. Yeah, I'm 150 if I'm lucky on it right here. So
if I'm playing with Bryson DeChambeau, I don't let him drive. I let him do the next shot because if he's driving me into the rough, especially at Bethpage Black, then we're out of luck, man. Like
there's got to be some strategy involved if you're teamed up with him and a couple other guys, right?
But yeah, DeChambeau didn't play in the last Ryder Cup in 23 over there in Rome. Did play in 21 / the 2020 version of the Ryder Cup that got postponed to 2021 due to COVID. He did play in that one, so he has that experience. Hopefully that experience comes into play, and hopefully the veterans on this team can kind of take the young guys underneath their wing. But another storyline that's kind of hovering over it is the fact that like the Europe team is so buddy-buddy, where everyone has done this before for the most part. They're all friends with one another. They all like each other. And then the United States side, it just kind of seems a little disjointed. Where they're not all friends. They're not all buddies.
Yeah, we've got guys like Scotty Scheffler that's just everything we said about Jaden in press conferences, Scotty's kind of the same way.
Except for the one time that he went on a 5-minute soliloquy about how golf doesn't matter to him.
And the thing with Team Europe is too, I think a lot of them take more pride in the competition and for country and each other. It's just we don't foster that kind of feeling in our sports like golf. In America, we just don't. Like golf is an individual sport where you're playing for you. Even when you're doing the college and high school format, it's still like we drum that into a lot of our golfers say it is you. So when you go into these formats where you have to do the team play, it no pun intended, it is a foreign concept to our USA players to have to depend on somebody else in that kind of format. And chemistry goes a long way when you're doing that kind of stuff because you want people to be comfortable. If somebody makes an errant shot, I've never played with Bryson. I don't know how he's going to react. But if I'm Rory and Shane, who probably play with each other all the time, like, it's fine. Like, I'll pick you up, man. I always do this. We do this pretty much every other Saturday type stuff. Like, that's the vibes I get from Team Europe a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. Like, it just seems like they're literally friends playing golf, and it's business for Team USA. And the pressure that you get with that sometimes makes it a lot harder than what it should be.
And Short Pump Corey brought up a really interesting point. The Giants aren't doing too well. The Jets aren't doing too well. And you've got some angry New Yorkers.
You got some opinionated folks in New York.
If you come out and Europe kind of takes that early lead, all of a sudden you might be hearing some words being thrown at you. And you'll be looking around as a United States player being like, wait, this is our home field.
I think they'll support them as long as they're giving effort and making it competitive.
And then they go into day 2 down 6, and it's just like, uh-oh.
But if you pull a Scotty and say it doesn't really matter,
then they're going to
1,000. Obviously, he didn't say that, but like if you downplay the magnitude of the event, you will 1,000% become a villain there.
Short Pump Corey said it as well. Europe has dominated as of late since 1995. United States has only won 4 Ryder Cups, but all time the United States leads 27-15. There have been 2 ties in the history of it. If it does happen to be a tie again, the trophy stays with Europe since they are the defending champion. So the United States needs to get that 14.5 points to win the Ryder Cup and take the trophy. Let it stay here in the United States. All right, let's get a quick break in here. On the other side, we'll do our power rankings of the Division I football programs around the Commonwealth. So stay with us right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at queenfieldgolf.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Wes Atia and Joyner Fine Properties presents the River City Tennis Open October 3rd through 5th at the University of Richmond Westham facility. For more information, visit rivercitytennisopen.com.
The Rich Eisen Show.
So that's my top 5 MVP candidates through 2 weeks, and I'm glad I got it out of the way before Kurt joined us, because, again, Kurt would be like, what are you doing? Oh, is he already zoomed in?
He's laughing right now.
Pop him on. Kurt, you're joining us next. But
yeah, but I was listening. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing.
Thank you. What we doing? See, I know my guy. All right, I know my guy. What are we doing? When Kurt Warner says, what are we doing? You know you're not doing something right. Okay, very good.
The Rich Eisen Show from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus. Hey, did you miss Clinton and Friends?
I don't personally need the brightest minds in America working on AI to improve baseball games. I understand why a lot of people think that this is necessary. I understand that there are a lot of people that are saying, thank God. I think ABS leads us to a place that we don't know what it's going to look like in 15 or 20 years. That's the part that kind of scares me, as somebody for whom baseball was my first love.
Clinton and Friends, weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Hey, it's Delvin Joyce, Jamie Hall of Famer and former New York Giant. Listen, make sure you tune in to Talkin' Dukes every Wednesday on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Go Dukes.
I gotta wait.
I always forget about that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stop playing this song.
Yeah, it's fine. We've got to wait. So how's your day been?
It's been great.
Yeah,
so far.
yeah.
I should just pot it down before he says it.
That would be. And then we have to wait again. All right. All right, welcome back in. Fitz the Bill and Jack Fitzpatrick Allen alongside Tequila playing. And tequila might be what Florida State fans are drinking as they try to drown out their sorrows when UVA downs them this Friday night at Scott Stadium.
You don't believe that.
I do for right now.
Yeah, you don't believe that.
Look, I think they can cover the spread.
No, I think it'll be a good game. And like I said, typically
UVA is not canceling classes, and that in and of itself gives them the L.
Even
if they win,
I'm not
they
gonna lie,
lose.
that did bother me, man.
Someone did tweet. They go. Typically, the people in Friday late afternoon classes aren't the ones that are going to be
the
at
football games.
Yeah,
So that makes sense.
it makes sense. But it's the Friday morning games. But you should have planned ahead if you're a UVA student, like I did when I was at JMU. I did not have Friday classes sophomore, junior, senior year. I got 3-day weekends all sophomore, junior, senior year.
You know, when I was at VCU, I don't recall them ever canceling class for any big game we had, but I also don't recall anybody going to class.
Look, exactly. Like you probably get 3 to 5 unexcused absences every single semester.
7 to 9:40s back then. I wasn't going to no 7 o'clock class if VCU was playing like ODU or somebody back in the good old CAA days.
Oh, good old CAA days. Back when it was the best mid-major conference.
No, it's back when whoever could answer the bell at quarter number 4. Like, it was awesome. They used to just literally just fight, like throwing bows.
Yeah. So I got a sneeze. I got a sneeze coming.
We need a sneeze, but they have a cough button.
I got a cough
button,
but it came and it went, and then here we are to list out our top 5 teams.
It's not your smoothest segment.
Woo! That was a good sneeze. That did not come. So top 5 Commonwealth D1 football power rankings. Just on the outside looking in, Richmond and William and Mary. Want to see them kind of string together a couple more wins, find that rhythm. But hey, if Liberty loses this weekend or if Virginia Tech loses this weekend, all of a sudden you're looking at maybe Richmond or William and Mary sneaking their way into the bottom portion of our D1 football power rankings. With that being said, Liberty is number 5. Liberty is right now at the bottom of our football power rankings because the start to this season has been embarrassing for the Liberty Flames, who have one of the highest paid G5 coaches. They have one of the biggest NIL budgets among all of the group of 5 schools, and yet they are 1-3, staring at 1-4 right in the face. A huge showdown this weekend against Old Dominion, who's coming off of a bye. It's going to be a very difficult game for Liberty if they want to pull this one out. It's in the 7-5-7, and ODU is a 16.5-point favorite. No respect for Liberty, but probably for good reason, considering Ethan Vasco missed the second half of the game with an injury. He's been practicing. His status is still uncertain, but the Liberty Flames, by far the worst team right now among FBS squads in the Commonwealth. Number 4, Virginia Tech. Good win over Wofford. Congratulations. I guess. All right. You beat Wofford. Now what do you got? What's your second act here under interim head coach Phil Montgomery? You got a test down there in Raleigh, North Carolina on the CW network. NC State, they're a good ACC team. Virginia Tech playing their first ACC game of the season. Maybe you can salvage something with a solid showing in conference play, but all signs point down for the Hokies. At number 3 in our football power rankings, James Madison. I think when Bob Black and Matt Josephs did this on the Mashup Hour back on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, they went there 1, 2, 3, JMU, UVA, ODU. And I am completely opposite of that from them. Like, we could not be more far apart on this top 3 of our football power rankings. Yeah, JMU got a win over the weekend against Liberty. Cool. But Liberty's one of the worst teams in all of the group of 5. They are so far they have shown that they are one of the worst teams in Conference USA. Can they turn the corner? Sure, but that's not when JMU played them. JMU played them at their lowest of lows, and yeah, they got a win. It was a gritty game in the first half. They were able to pull away in the second half, but there are still some serious flaws in the way JMU played in that game. And so they're not better than ODU, and they're not better than UVA. ODU has a Power 4 conference win. They've got that dominating win over Virginia Tech. And that's why ODU is second. And it's a good measuring stick game here on Saturday as ODU faces off against Liberty, right? Because ODU, he got the similar opponent as JMU. If you blow him out by more than what JMU did, then you have a real case to be quote unquote better than JMU. So it's a pretty big measuring stick game. And who knows, maybe JMU takes over ODU if ODU ekes out a win over Liberty or loses to Liberty. But for at the time being, a dominating win over a Virginia Tech school makes ODU the better team than JMU in my football power rankings. And I don't think that's a hot take. Like you got a Power 4 conference win. JMU couldn't do it because they were playing around with their quarterback situation. So as it stands, until the two face off on October 18th, homecoming for James Madison, until then, ODU will likely be ahead of the Dukes of JMU. And number one, it's UVA. UVA, I am really high on what the Cavaliers have done this season. I think their offense is really fun to watch. Chandler Morris is an electric quarterback. And now I don't believe in my heart of hearts that they will win. I do think, though, there is upset potential here on Friday night on ESPN inside Scott Stadium. Like, I really do think, Alan, that there is upset potential on Friday night. Like Florida State is good. They are 8th in the country. I understand it. They come in 3-0. I understand Florida State. This is not last year's Florida State. However, the way that the offense has been playing for UVA, I'm putting the Seminoles on upset alert.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's far-fetched to have UVA as a potential upset alert. Again, when you have the quarterback play, that's always the great equalizer, no matter what level of football you're at.
I mean, the great quarterback play. In 4 games, Chandler Morris has over 1,000 passing yards. He has looked every part of his preseason billing. 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's been sacked just once. Chandler Morris has been phenomenal for UVA. And if he plays like he has played through the first 4 games of the season, and Jamari Taylor, their running back, and Harrison Whaley, their running back, continue to average over 6 yards a pop. I mean, heck, Noah Vaughn averaging 7.7 yards per pop. If those 3 keep things rolling against a good Florida State defense, I mean, all of a sudden you could look up at the fourth quarter and UVA has a lead over the Seminoles. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. We've got Reggie on line 1. Good morning, Reggie. How are we doing?
Guys, I just want to really commend you on your coverage of local high school sports. I mean, clearly you will be interviewing future NFL and NBA and Major League Baseball players and ladies in the future. So I also want to first of all commend you guys for that. They're doing a great job, and hopefully they'll get back to the community and their endeavors. Second of all, Virginia State will be going down to Tobacco Road again to play Fayetteville. And I tell you what, Coach Hayes, he don't like Virginia State. He don't like Union. He don't like no Virginia school because he get tired of them beating his butt in the playoff games and set up their championship. So, Coach Hayes, watch out because Bronco Nation is going to have an attitude with Virginia State. And again, congratulations to Dr. Frazier and his 100 career victories. So hats off to them. And the Mighty Panthers will be playing Shaw. Now, this is going to be a sneaky game. Shaw, over the years, has been a thorn in the Panthers' side. I think Dr. Parker will have the boys ready. And again, I had to apologize for the Willie Belly Classic. Union took care of business. Your thoughts on that, Fitz, about Union taking care of business in the Willie Belly Classic?
I mean, Union looked the part. That defense shut down Johnson C. Smith in every single way. Johnson C. Smith, they've got a pretty good quarterback, and he was kind of a non-factor. Johnson C. Smith in that game brought back their preseason All-American Brevin Caldwell. He had missed the first couple of games with an injury. They brought him back. He was kind of a non-factor. The defensive Union really is legit. And then, oh, by the way, Curtis Allen as the running back, he just has picked up exactly where Jada Byers left off. And I mean, that offense, they are going to run through their running back. They're going to give him a lot of opportunities. I think he had 4 touchdowns, which doubled up his season total. He came in with 4 touchdowns, left with 8. As long as that running game can find any sort of rhythm, Union's going to be a tough team to beat throughout this season.
Got to ask the question about North State. And it seems like Coach Vick is getting his hands full. They might have a chance against Hampton. Hampton is just pathetic. They need to lead the CAA. I mean, for them to get their butts beat like they did, Howard just scored them again. It's just embarrassing what's going on at Hampton. Y'all thoughts on Norfolk State and their road they're going to be traveling, because it's going to be kind of crazy the next couple of weeks. I think they got Wagner this week or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they got Wagner this week. So, I mean, an opportunity to maybe rattle off 2 quick wins, and then you got Wofford after that in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Road games are always difficult, of course, but I don't think Wofford has a win this season. So you could, I mean, you're 1-3. Your losses have been against Rutgers, which we know Rutgers is a Big Ten school, so you were going to lose that game. You had a close win over Virginia State. Towson, good CAA squad. The Sacred Heart loss, you would have loved to pull that one off, but this is an opportunity here for you over the next 3 weeks, really, where you can maybe start to find a little rhythm before you begin MEAC play.
Yeah, well, right now, Coach Jackson seems to be doing his thing at Delaware State. He's on.
He looks good. That his squad looks solid, man.
Yeah, I tell you what, the Morgan State game is going to be on ESPN. They did a good job moving that game around. So, kind of watch out for Coach Jackson. He might be the sleeper this year. Everybody laughed at him immediately. Come in with that swagger, but might have to send an apology to the brother. The brother might have things growing. That's what the Coach Jackson, Delaware State, and Coach Blunt back in the day, former Armstrong standout, used to be the coach of Delaware State back in the day. And I tell you what, they got a nice program up there. If they keep things rolling, get the recruits in there.
Who would have thought that Deshaun Jackson would have a better start to his coaching career than Michael Vick would? I for one, am a little surprised that Deshaun Jackson is.
Yeah, I'm shocked about it. But like I said, guys, y'all doing a great job. I really admire what y'all doing. Keep up the great work.
Appreciate it, Reggie. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Thank you for calling in. We'll catch up again soon. There goes Reggie. He brought up Union. Union had themselves a nice little game against Johnson C. Smith on Saturday. 90-minute weather delay did not cause an issue, and Union came out and they dominated Johnson C. Smith, a team that had come in red hot, 3-0, looking like the team to beat in the CIAA. And Union said, no, not, as Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend. We are still the best team, at least for further notice. That state game at the end of the season is likely going to be a huge game, but Union said, not so fast, my friend. All right, let's get a quick break in here. Step aside. We'll be back with some fantasy football advice. Feel free, call or text in your fantasy football questions, 804-327-0888. That's coming up on the other side of this break. 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code COOL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code COOL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code COOL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Driven by an unwavering passion for real estate, Wes Attia with Joyner Fine Properties consistently goes above and beyond for his clients. Wes is dedicated to ensuring that every step of your home selling or buying journey is met with unparalleled dedication, expertise, and a genuine commitment to exceeding your expectations. Wes is a proud sponsor and founder of the River City Tennis Open, supporting local charities benefiting RVA youths, and can be found at isellrichmondhomes.com.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Holding! Defense! The ref totally blew that call.
Oh, I'm sure he'll make the right call next time.
It's too late. It cost us the game.
Well, it's just one game.
That loss eliminated us from the playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs are on so late. Now you'll be well rested.
Okay, I need you to stop talking now.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Straight Talk presents the math of more. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
PGA Ryder Cup leaderboard updates are brought to you by Richmond LSV's Fall Bintelli sales event now through October 31st. Low-speed vehicle special financing details online at richmondlsv.com. From Richmond and beyond, Border to Border with Matt Josephs on 106.1 ESPN breaks down Virginia sports like nobody else. Bold opinions, zero sugarcoating. Tune in.
When the hold up, know when the fold up, know when the
Those songs are going to be stuck in my head all day.
You got to know when to sit them and when to start them.
You got to know. When you're sitting at the table, you got to know when to got to walk away. Got to walk away sometimes.
Yeah, well, the time is typically before kickoff there, Kenny.
Yeah. I'm going to be last week I was sitting down Sunday, games kicked at 1 p.m. and I said an expletive because I forgot to set my lineups. And Jaden Daniels was my quarterback. I spend so much time getting ready for this segment that I sometimes forget to set my lineup.
That's a rookie move.
And Jaden Daniels was in my starting QB spot, and I went, no.
That's a rookie.
No, it was a rookie move. It was a tough move. So fantasy football, if you got a fantasy football team, listen up, because there is some interesting guys out there that you can still go and pick up. I'll say this one right off the top because he is rostered in about 73% of leagues, according to Fantasy Pros. If you are in those 27% of leagues that haven't rostered this player, you got to go out and grab him because James Conner has gone down, the running back for the Arizona Cardinals, which means Trey Benson will be their RB1 for the foreseeable future because James Conner is done for the season. So unless DeMarcado, the backup running back, kind of usurps Trey Benson, Benson will be the RB1 getting a lion's share of the work in that Arizona backfield. So a lot of people saw that news and they went and they rostered him, but there are still 27% of leagues out there that have not rostered Trey Benson. And if you're a lucky one in one of those leagues, you have to go out there and get him, especially if you lost James Conner. A really fun defense here, Alan, to target is the Chargers defense. They've got a chef's kiss matchup this Sunday. Guess who they're going up against?
A rookie in his first start and a coach who may or may not be on the hot seat.
Ding, 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 man. The Chargers.
And Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah. Cam Scatterboo, low-key nice.
I don't even think it's low-key. He hasn't shown me anything that I didn't expect. He's a meathead, man.
When he was drafted in the 4th round, I was like, why? Like, this guy's going to be, like, he might not have the longevity because the dude's running into CTE every single play, but, I mean, he looks good. He looks solid. Cam Scatterboo right now, the RB20, which, I mean, might not like set the world on fire or anything, but he's doing pretty well considering he was a 4th round draft pick who was not the RB1 to start the season. That's my long-winded way to say, go on and get the Chargers defense if you can. I'm a big proponent of going after defenses on a week-to-week basis based on the matchups, and the Chargers have a prime matchup on Sunday. And looking ahead, they've kind of got a pretty solid next 3 weeks. You've got Jackson Dart, a rookie quarterback, making his first start this week. Commanders next week, which, depending on the Jaden Daniels stuff, could potentially be down to Marcus Mariota, a backup who did have the one good game, but I wouldn't bank on that for 2 weeks from now. But then after that, it's the Dolphins. So in the next 3 weeks, 2 of the games they are playing are against bad offenses that should give the Chargers defense plenty of opportunities to get turnovers, get points, and look really solid. So I'm targeting the Chargers defense in all the leagues I'm in, trying to get them into my starting lineup for the next 3 weeks because that is a favorable draw for them over the next. I mean, the fact that you get the Giants, Commanders, all right, then the Dolphins, those are 2 games where your defense probably be scoring in double digits and looking solid. Elik Ayumanor? I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name.
I am not the guy for pronunciation.
Yeah, I know. Noah, on a side note, on a tangent here about pronunciations, Noah Igbenogany, the cornerback for the Commanders?
Yes.
You see what had just happened with me there. I got stumbled. I got tripped up. He claimed another this week. He claimed another. Mark Schlereth, who was on the call, the color analyst for Fox in that Commanders game, he struggled. He hit the name, and all of a sudden, his momentum got lost. It was Brady 2 weeks ago, or was it 3 weeks ago? It was Brady a couple weeks ago, and then it was Mark Schlereth this week. And I feel bad for him because you hear it. They're like, what a great play by Noah Igbinoghene. And it's like, you had it. You had it. Just stick the landing.
Yeah, it's crazy because Mark's got Mark's got a name that gets people hemmed up sometimes.
Schlereth. 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 A lot of different ways to pronounce Mark Schlereth. But Alec Ayumanor, the Titans wide receiver 2, not rostered in a lot of leagues. He has emerged as the wide receiver 2 in Tennessee. He looks good. If you're putting him in the flex spot, you feel comfortable with that. Currently, he's wide receiver 30 in the NFL in terms of points per snap, which is ahead of Jacoby Myers, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, some other big names in there as well. And Ayumanor is getting 20% of the team's targets, which is 34th among wide receivers, but expect that number to grow as the season goes on, as Cam Ward gets more and more comfortable with the rookie wide receiver. He is the clear-cut wide receiver 2 in Tennessee. Calvin Ridley has been a little underwhelming as the wide receiver 1 for the Titans, so some of those targets could even potentially go over to Ayumanor. He is a solid pickup right now if you're looking for a plus-side flex play moving forward. And a good tight end to target, a very good tight end to target, Harold Fannin Jr. You got to go out there and get him if you can, if he's available. The Cleveland Browns, and I know it might be crazy to say that we're targeting a Cleveland Browns offensive player, considering Joe Flacco's the team's quarterback, but Harold Fannin Jr. has been a focal point of their offense this year, getting 15.5% of the team's targets, 17th most among tight ends. He's 12th in the league in total points at the tight end spot, 13th in points per snap. And every week that goes along, he gets more and more usage. They use him in interesting packages. He's like the all-time leader in receptions for FBS teams with what he did at Bowling Green.
Yeah, Bowling Green.
He's an interesting tight end. He kind of has a unique body type, isn't a traditional tight end, can play up, can play out, just not really the fastest guy, but he has more of a wide receiver build. But the Browns have been using him a lot to start the season, and Harold Fannin, if you can, heck, even David Njoku, the other tight end for the Browns. Joe Flacco loves his safety valves, and those two have been getting a good amount of targets and a good amount of points here to start out 2025. So target Ayumanor, Harold Fannin Jr., and if you can, get out there and grab the Chargers defense as well. Those are some of the guys I'll be looking at the waiver wire here on this Thursday as I remember to set my lineups here tonight because I forgot last week, which is always a bummer. We did get a text in with a start-sit question. Good morning. Fantasy Thursday question for you. What do you guys think of Trey Tucker for the Raiders? He's had 2 really good weeks. Could this be someone you flex with regularity, or are his last 2 weeks flashes in the pan? And I mean, that's a very, very good question because as it stands right now, Trey Tucker is looking very dynamic. He's getting not a ton of targets, and that's where you kind of worry a little bit. Trey Tucker is getting just under 20% of the team's targets. He's the wide receiver 2 on his own team. Jacoby Myers is technically the wide receiver 1 over there in Las Vegas. But Trey Tucker is coming off of the best fantasy football performance of any wide receiver this year. He went for over 180 yards, 3 touchdowns. He looked good against the Commanders, but a lot of those points did come in garbage time. So you're starting to play the game of, is this real? Is this fake? Where do we go with Trey Tucker? He's averaging 15.4 fantasy points per game and 15.4 fantasy points per game, 3rd in the league. It's funny. You look at the top 5 wide receivers this year in fantasy football. You ready for this list, Alan?
I'm ready.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Makes sense. Rostered in 99.8% of leagues. Roma Dunze is the number 2 receiver in fantasy so far to start the year, mainly because he has 4 touchdowns and 4 receptions of 20 yards or more. He's rostered in 94.2% of the league. The number 4 receiver in fantasy is Puka Nacua. He is rostered in 99.8% of the league. Then your 3rd best receiver to start off the year and your 5th best receiver to start off the year are Trey Tucker and Quentin Johnston. Trey Tucker, 40% rostered. Quentin Johnson, 32% rostered. And now this is the fun part as a fantasy owner. You got to figure out which one's legit and which one's not legit. And I don't, this is a good question from the texter. Is he flexible? Like, could you put him in the flex? Yeah, you could. And I would probably try out, maybe not even putting him in the flex, but going out and trying to acquire Trey Tucker. He's the 3rd best wide receiver in fantasy points, but he's the wide receiver 39 in terms of target share at 19.4%. So some of it's just been boom plays, right? I mean, he's targeted less than what Jalen Naylor is targeted on the Minnesota Vikings. Rashad Bateman is targeted more than Trey Tucker. Other guys, Wan'Dale Robinson is targeted more than he is. So he has kind of lived and died by the big plays, 3 catches of 20 yards or more, 4 touchdowns. So be careful. But if he's available in your league, go out and get him and prevent him from landing with another team. Like that would be my best bet.
Yeah, I don't think there's the consistency there to like take the chance on him if you have people already in place. Because like you said, he hasn't gotten a lot of targets, and it was like garbage time in the last game. But it's interesting enough because I think he had 3 touchdowns last game, and he's got 1 already. They don't score a lot of touchdowns. Maybe he's a red zone target down the line. I would definitely roster him and just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, keep an eye. Really roster him. See how the next 2-3 weeks go, and then you can drop him and get someone else. Quentin Johnston is a guy that I am more convinced in, because Quentin Johnston is getting 22.4% of his team's targets, which is the wide receiver 24. But he has shown this season that he's a threat to score. He's a threat for the big plays. He has 5 catches of 20 yards or more. He has 3 touchdowns, and he's showing he can catch, which was always his issue for the first couple of seasons. It was his issue back at TCU. But he's a big play machine. Of the top 5 wide receivers in fantasy football so far this season, he is number 1 in terms of yards per reception at 17.1. So he's getting some big plays, and 17.1, that's what, 2.7 points that you're getting every time that he catches a football. And then when he scores, tack on 6 more. I like those numbers from Quentin Johnson. I think he's legit. And the Los Angeles Chargers offense between Quentin Johnston and Keenan Allen are producing at a very high clip. They're wide receiver 5 and wide receiver 6 this season. Who would have thought that the Chargers would be one of the more pass-happy offenses in the NFL with Greg Roman as their offensive play caller?
Greg Roman has a shelf life. I've said this 1,000 times. I'll say it again. It's going to be great year 1.
Yeah,
it's going to be
capitalize
okay
on
year
it now.
2. Year 3, you're going to fire him. You're going to wonder, why'd you hire this guy?
You got to capitalize on it now. Do not let him stick around for too long. Capitalize on his good stuff now, and then you can fire him after you win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, that's a little too much. Let's go to break. You go with that Chargers Super Bowl stuff.
Hey, look, Chargers winning the AFC West, man. So far, it's looking good.
That's fine. But now you're talking Super Bowl.
I'm not actually talking Super Bowl. I know they won't. They're the Chargers. Something will happen to them. It always does.
It does.
It'll be AFC division, like Phillip Rivers when he got like his torn ACL in the divisional round, then played on in the championship game against the Patriots. I'm not wishing that for Justin Herbert, but in the most Chargers way possible. You can move the city from San Diego to LA. You can do everything you can, bring in Harbaugh, but look, the Chargers are always going to find a way to charger, and I'm expecting that in the postseason. They're going to win the AFC West, look like they're cooking with gas, and then something crazy is going to happen, like stabbing their quarterback in the lung.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, Justin Herbert's got every contract that Justin Herbert gets, at least 0.2% needs to go to that doctor.
I think he got fired.
I think he probably should have. Look, if my doctor's stabbing me in the lung, bro, I got to have a conversation with you. You can't be stabbing me in the lung. That's crazy. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside, be back to wrap up this Thursday edition of Fitz the Bill right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey, this is Jack Fitzpatrick. If you've ever been in a car accident, there's one place to call: Schilling and Esposito. I know them personally. I know their work ethic. They focus on their clients and their big dog obsession with getting the most compensation for their client. Heck, they even give you their cell phone numbers. Call them today at 804-320-0950 and put their entire team to work for you. 804-320-0950. Schilling and Esposito.
The Bentelli Fall Sales Event is on now through October 31st. Great selection of LSVs and special finance rates are available. Cruise your neighborhood in style with a street-legal low-speed vehicle from Richmond LSV. Bluetooth sound system, seatbelts, and lithium batteries are all standard equipment. Schedule a test drive today during the Bentelli Fall Sales Event at richmondlsv.com or text 804-363-4351. Fun, fully charged.
Are you suffering from a sports injury, chronic pain, or something that just plain hurts? Ortho Virginia can help get you on the road to recovery. As the state's largest provider of orthopedic care, Ortho Virginia's team of specialists offers surgical and non-surgical treatment options. With 12 offices conveniently located in the Richmond area, visit orthovirginia.com or call 804-915-1910 to discover why at Ortho Virginia, stronger starts here.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Defense. The ref totally blew that call.
Oh, I'm sure he'll make the right call next time.
It's too late. It cost us the game.
Well, it's just one game.
That loss eliminated us from the playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs are on so late. Now you'll be well rested.
Okay, I need you to stop talking now.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Straight Talk presents The Math of More. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
Looking to grow your local business? Let's team up. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, host of Fitz the Bill on ESPN Richmond. Together, we can craft on-air campaigns that drive customers right through your doors. Ready to collaborate? Email me, jack.fitzpatrick@summitmediacorp.com.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill as we wrap up this Thursday edition, September 25th, getting you set for the week ahead, the weekend ahead. Friday, the unofficial start of the weekend, going into a Saturday that is full of some fantastic college football. Sunday that's got some great NFL action, but maybe the game of the weekend, maybe the game of the year, heck, the game of the century, Alan, is tonight.
What?
Seahawks in action, man. We get to see Sam
I was
Darnold.
hoping you was going to say a college football game. I was like, man, there's Maction this early in the year.
No. Not so fast, my friend. We get to see Sam Darnold with the bright light shining down in Phoenix, Arizona. Sorry, in Glendale, Arizona.
Yeah.
Woo! What's your pick for this game? Who do you got? I've got the Seahawks here. I think they actually will win this game and win it pretty handedly.
I'll go with the Cardinals. but it's not like, it's not a game I'm compelled to like cap hard. I just think go with the home team.
See, that's where you're wrong, man. We're gonna spend the first hour and a half of tomorrow's show talking all things about this game.
We're not gonna have it. It's not gonna take an hour and a half. Everything you're gonna need
You're right,
to
it's
see.
gonna take 3. And we'll have to
Everything you need
squeeze
to
it
see
in.
about this game, you'll see right after the script ends on those first drives.
All right. That's granted, it is funny because Seattle blew out New Orleans last year, 44-16 or whatever the final score was. I don't even remember. I turned the game off. That's how much of a blowout it is. And I never turn off Seahawks games. However, it kind of got a little slow once they got off the script. Like the offense was cooking to start the game, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we haven't scored in like 20 minutes of game time.
Yeah.
This isn't good.
Yeah, a lot of these teams have struggled with that.
Yes, a lot of, and I mean, it makes sense. Like that is when the game gets more difficult and the defense gets the advantage. So you want to have and in the case of the Seahawks, they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. It's going to give Kyler Murray headaches throughout this game. So if you are able to get out to an early lead, an early 7-0, 10-0, 14-0 type of lead, then you can typically kind of coast from there. So
yeah,
that's what I think the Seahawks are going to do. They're going to try and get out to an early lead and then rely on their defense, which does bring back Julian Love, does bring back Devin Witherspoon, two of the better defensive players they have on their roster who've missed the last 2 weeks with injuries. They get them back, and they should, especially Witherspoon, give Kyler Murray headaches in this one.
I love Witherspoon. I think Kyler's playmaking ability is going to be the great equalizer. Again, the ability to extend plays, to be slippery when he's rolling out and stuff like that. Kyler as a runner has to be present with Connor on the IR.
Yeah, 100. I mean, that is the one thing Seattle has done well against Kyler Murray is kind of bottle him up, whether it was Pete Carroll and that defense they were running or whether it was Mike McDonald's last year. They've done a good job in bottling up Kyler, but if he does get going, then things may get a little interesting in this game. So that is what I'm very much keyed in on. 1.5 point spread. That's what it is. So coming up this week, we've got a very special guest joining us in studio tomorrow. The director and focus of the film of Sierra 914. It's about a 65-year-old ultra endurance athlete from the Richmond area who did a 914-mile race through the Sierra Nevada mountains. They're coming in studio tomorrow. I'm very excited to chat with the director and the focus of the documentary as they're premiering their movie at the Richmond International Film Festival on Sunday. Sierra 914, following the journey of a 65-year-old ultra endurance athlete, Will Turner, a Richmond native who did a 914-mile race through the Eastern Sierra, where, I mean, that is a triathlon, so a little bit of everything for him. So,
yeah, they can't see my face, but when you said that, I kind of looked at you like, huh?
Their tagline, you're never too old until you use age as an excuse.
I like that.
Look, if I'm 65 years old, and I'm doing a 914-mile race, I'm not. I'm not doing it at 28 years old. So very excited to welcome them into studio tomorrow around 9:30 a.m. to chat about the documentary, to chat about the journey itself, both the 914-mile journey as well as the making of the documentary. They've been selected in the Newport Beach Film Festival, Tennessee International Indie Film Festival, and they'll premiere it at the Richmond International Film Festival on Sunday. So welcoming them in tomorrow. And then also tomorrow we'll be out at Atlee as Atlee plays host to Hanover in what should be a very, very intriguing football game. That's our talk of the town game of the week. And Alan, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for, I went hot dog last week, went chili cheese dog. I'm feeling maybe a burger or maybe something interesting off of the menu.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for something interesting as well, and I can't wait. I mean, obviously the football is better than the food, but
I don't know. Those Thomas Dale Creekle cut fries, man.
The fries were legit.
Those were good fries.
But the game was incredible as well.
The game was fantastic. Thomas Dale out to the early lead. They're the only one we've graded an 8.2. We'll do our food review in pregame. We'll do all of our postgame coverage as well. You can follow along. Fitz The Bill, ESPN RVA, to stay up to date with all of our talk of the town coverage, post-game interviews with coach, with players, with winning coach, with winning players, and our pregame food review and highlights throughout. So be sure to follow along on Instagram, Fitz The Bill, ESPN, RVA, as well as YouTube. And of course, you can subscribe on YouTube. You can also subscribe to the ESPN Richmond YouTube as well, so you never miss any of the behind-the-scenes looks, anything at all like that. So, look, the home teams, the games I have attended, because I was not able to attend the Verina Morey game. I was out at a wedding. But every game I have attended, the home team has won. Can Atlee keep that going this week?
I never even noticed that.
Highland Springs won, Thomas Dale won, and Midlothian won.
Yeah, I guess I.
And then you're the bad luck charm.
Oh man, don't do me like that.
I'm just saying. In case Coach Lewis is out here wondering why they lost to Morey, it's not because of me. It's all because of Allen.
No, I gotta come back because the pork chops.
Hey, yeah, we gotta get those fried pork chops, man.
Yeah, don't do me like that.
I forget. Is Verina Highland Springs this season? Is that at? Which one's that at?
I don't know where it's at, but I'm gonna be there.
I think it was
whether it's on the list or not.
I think it's at Highland Springs this year. Regardless, either a fried pork chop or fried fish for that food.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh, man, we may have to hit all of the stands at either game because each one's got better food.
Might pull a fan in to get their opinion too.
Yeah, exactly. We got to get everyone in. Maybe the cooks do it live with them. Maybe they let us fry a fish. I don't know. Keep it locked right here, 106.1 ESPN Richmond. We are where Richmond talks sports. Coming up next, Clinton and Friends. Then after that, starting at noon, the Rich Eisen Show. That leads you into Border to Border with Matt Josephs. And starting at 4, it's the Mashup Hour with Bob Black and Matt. And then the Sports Huddle takes you on home from 5 until 6. But keep it locked because we've got Raisin Hail tonight. Jordan and Allen with Raisin Hail, a very special guest as well on tonight's edition. You don't want to miss that. 6 p.m. Raisin Hail as well. So appreciate you guys for clocking in, getting your day started with us. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Fitz the Bill.
From the ESPN studio, presented by Ortho Virginia. Find one of Ortho Virginia's orthopedic locations at orthovirginia.com. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN.